Hello, my friends. It is Wednesday, December 1st. It's already December. It's crazy. It is a cold morning here in Cleveland. Beautiful out today. Hope you're enjoying yourself wherever you are out there in this world. You know, yesterday I did that video about Phyllis Diller and everything that I learned about life from her. For those of you who don't know, Phyllis was a legendary comedian. She was the first female stand-up comedian to be famous all over the world. Really an incredible person. She passed about 10 years ago. I'll put a link down below to the video, the first video. But there's so much more information. I did a little more digging. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about Phyllis. So right now, we're going to do What I Learned from Phyllis Diller, part 2. Yes, it's part 2. Like I said, she was an incredible human being. And Phyllis always credited The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol as the seminal point in her life, the book that changed everything, that transformed her life, just like it did for me. And when we met each other, we certainly had that to talk about and that in common. And it is an incredible thing. So I did a little research, and I have a copy of Phyllis's autobiography. It's called Like a Lampshade in a Whorehouse. But the 4th chapter of her book recounts the event and the start of her comedy career after working for years in advertising. She did advertising for department stores and radio station. So I want to read you a little bit of this, okay? This is direct from Phyllis's autobiography. In June 1951, after leaving the News Observer and then failing to get a job as a music librarian at the Oakland Tribune, I found employment in the advertising office of a large Oakland department store named Conn's, a downtown landmark consisting of a grand rotunda covered by a glass dome. The building was 4 stories high, with the ad office and furniture on the top floor, housewares and bedding on the floor below that, ladies' fashion apparel on the second level, menswear, books, and jewelry on the main floor, and sale items in the basement. A hotshot guy ran the ad office, while the assistant advertising manager was a handsome man named Bill Shang. Then there was a cute little girl artist, Jenny Day, and a young, pudgy, old maid type who handled all of the basement goods and always had her nose stuck in the Reader's Digest. Finally, there was the fashion editor, who was totally full of herself, a snooty, big-headed bitch who thought that her crap didn't stink. You see, my dear, she was in fashion and therefore above it all, at least to her way of thinking. In truth, the only thing she was above was that bedding on the 3rd floor. For $75 a week, I was put in charge of the newspaper and radio ad copy pertaining to the rest of the store. It was a heavy load, but I soon made a name for myself with my writing and with my layouts. I worked closely with the printers concerning typeface, and I made it in art. I'd use a lot of white space, which in those days many people thought was wasted space, but it was eye-catching, and the buyers would call me and praise my work. I've always done things in my own special way. If you do that, you're going to get noticed. When the other girls in the office finished their work, they'd do their nails and read a book. I, on the other hand, would go to the front desk, look at the figures, and study the loss leaders to see what items did best. That meant I was learning something, and I could also apply it to my job because I was turning out an awful lot of copy. I could outthink anybody when it came to ads and layouts. I was hot for advertising, and I got a great deal of pleasure out of knowing that. Of course, I lacked confidence because of my looks and because of the way that my then husband, Sherwood, treated me. But the work was slowly restoring my sense of self. And then something else came along to change my life completely. On one occasion, just a few months after joining the store, I had to deal with a buyer who was taking a full-page ad featuring prices listed from top to bottom for things like mattresses, pillows, and linens. She had to check this in a minute by minute, second by second detail, because it was, if anything was accidentally listed, say for the wrong price, the deal would have to be honored. So if you listed something for 25 cents instead of $25, the store would have to honor that price. I therefore knew that I was going to be in that little cubbyhole office for a long time while she went over all the details. And she had a number of books in there. I just reached up to the shelf and I took one called The Magic of Believing. Same thing that happened to me. I'm in the library, 10 years old. I'm a little kid magician. I'm in there every week taking out books on magic. Somehow The Magic of Believing got mistakenly put with the magic books. I checked it out and it transformed my life. So just like Phyllis, a burst of fate happens. Same thing. So to continue, in those days, I never wasted a minute. I was gung-ho. And as soon as I started reading that book, I thought, this book is talking to me. I felt the same way. I know so many people that do. The book is written that way. It's written in a way that as you read it, you realize you know this information in your soul. You just needed to be reminded of it. So then, Phyllis says, I asked the woman if I could borrow the book, and I took it to my office. But as I continued to read it, I wanted to underline things. Well, I wouldn't underline someone else's book, so I called down to the bookstore. I bought my own copy, and for the next 2 years, The Magic of Believing became a system of thought for me, as well as a way of life. Written by a lawyer, lecturer, investment banker, and foreign correspondent named Claude Bristol, this incredible book described motivational techniques that make use of the subconscious mind, powers of suggestion, powers of imagination, and self-belief to overcome every obstacle and achieve personal happiness along with professional success. These were the kind of words that transported me out of the fire into which I'd thrown my scrapbook of dreams and aspirations. Almost like a mantra, I'd keep rereading the parts that I underlined. I didn't bother with the filler. And from here on, it was straight up all the way. I had a whole different slant. I believed that everything was going to work out. So even the setbacks that I'd experienced would no longer matter. Everything I'd touch would turn to gold. Beforehand, I would run and hide and pull the covers over my head whenever anybody gave me a dirty look. If people said and did nasty things to me, I would accept them. I was so easily destroyed. However, after immersing myself in the magic of believing, I accepted nothing negative. In fact, I imagined a protective device for myself. It was a white feather cape that wrapped around me, ensuring that, like water off a duck's back, nothing could ever get through. My hatred of confrontation meant that I didn't answer anyone back, but I developed a shield against all of the negative vibes that some people kept putting out. Later in her autobiography, Phyllis says, traveling to and from work on a bus, a tram, and a cable car, I would read The Magic of Believing and absorb what it was telling me. And eventually, armed with the courage as well as the belief, I also started writing down everything I wanted. As the book basically says, you wouldn't go to a grocery store without a list. So why go throughout life without a list? By writing everything down, you'll clear your head and you'll clarify your goals. After all, what do you want out of life? Everyone will say, I just want to be happy. But sometimes that isn't true. They want things like money and power that they might equate with happiness, but that don't necessarily lead to it. It's terribly difficult to be honest with yourself. It means trying to be objective, whereas many, many people are subjective and boring too. So I had my notebook, and at a time when I was earning $5,000 a year, I drew a money bag with $200,000 on it. I also wrote that I wanted to achieve this by way of music, writing, and humor, even though neither music nor humor applied to the job that I had. As Claude Bristol explained, you don't have to know how you're going to achieve your goals. Stop questioning, start believing. Once you do that, some truly unreal things start to happen. Now you've got the whole universe on your side. That's the magic. Believe in yourself and give yourself the power. You get to that point by throwing out all of your worry, all of your fear-related thoughts. What was in my mind all those years? Nothing but worry. Nothing but fear. Now I started controlling my own mind, and I had a system of thought that was positive. What's more, I treated people in that way. When I was young, I used to waste an awful lot of time letting others tell me their problems. But then I realized that it didn't do them any good, and it certainly depressed me. It was counterproductive. So from now on, I had no time for people who use me as a sounding board. You know, spend $100 an hour and go see a psychiatrist. I don't work for free. That's how I divested myself of these people who walk under a cloud. It's their own cloud, which they've created, and it's always going to be there until they decide to let the sun come out. You can't do it for them. I now don't have anyone in my life whom I don't want there. I got rid of them. This is powerful. This is word for word from her autobiography. This is powerful. She continues, the people I got rid of included borrowers and users who I really didn't have to put up with. In some cases, I'd become codependent. However, if you really want to get rid of some people, loan them money. You'll never see them again. I got rid of quite of a few that way. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, that's what happened. They just vanished. All our lives were encumbered with stuff that's inflicted on us. People think they're helping, but in many cases they are. But in a lot of cases, what they have to offer is also a burden. For instance, my mother would never talk to anyone in her own voice. It was always a saying or a quote from Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Shakespeare, or the Bible. A stitch in time saves nine. A penny saved is a penny earned. I grew up on those quotes, but I learned to strip everything away while also trying to confront the subconscious thoughts that might be completely hamstringing me. Certain ideas that you've been given by your parents or teachers can paralyze you. The magic of believing really made me think about my own life, because that's all any of us has. I became totally focused on my hopes and my objectives. And at the same time, Sherwood kept saying, you've got to become a comic. You've got to become a comic. Remember, he was always looking to come up with a product that I could make money. Now I became the product. Still, despite my thinking he was out of his mind, which he was, the more he persisted, the more I began considering his advice. Just believe that there is genuine creative magic in believing, and magic there will be. For belief will supply the power which will enable you to succeed in everything you undertake. Back your belief with a resolute will, and you become unconquerable, a master of men among men, because you become yourself. Now, Claude Bristol said, happiness, sought by many and found by few, is a matter entirely within ourselves. Our environment, and the everyday happenings of life have absolutely no effect on our happiness, except as we permit mental images of the outside to enter our consciousness. Happiness is wholly independent of position, of wealth, or material possessions. It is a state of mind which we ourselves have the power to control. And that control lies within our thinking. Thought is the original source of all wealth. Thought is the original source of all success, of all material gain, of all great discoveries, of all great inventions, and of all achievement. By using the dynamic force of believing, you can set all your inner forces in motion, and they in turn will help you reach your goals. If you've never read The Magic of Believing, it's definitely a book you have to check out. You can pick up a copy for a few dollars. And it's one of those books, there's no fluff. It is hard-hitting information. Feels like it was written just for the reader. And it's powerful stuff. Now, I want to share a quote from Phyllis that I think is amazing. All we are surrounded by is our mental equivalent. If you think lack and want, then you're going to lack and you're going to want. I always thought luxury. I always thought beauty. And I have it because I felt it. She had it because she knew it. The main thing is you must feel it. You can't just think it. You must act as if you already had it, which I always did. Phyllis Diller, 37, mother of 5. Everyone told her could never be a professional comedian. Wasn't that funny? No way. Read the book, transformed her life. 37 years old, became a sensation, became famous, changed her attitude, and thus changed her life. Her entire life transformed by a shift in attitude. That's all. It's incredible. If you've not joined our Facebook community, this is the kind of thing we do there. We help each other. We empower you with the tools you need to transform your life. Like-minded people, we're banded together. We're supporting each other, empowering, transformative knowledge, the steps you need to take today to start making that change. No matter where you are on your journey, that journey's never over. So come join the rest of your family. We're waiting. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/BrentWebbOfficial. Over 300 videos, not many more subscribers. We got to fix that. Everything we do here, we have our business, our live speaking engagements and seminars and my shows at casinos and hotels. That's the money-making side of our organization. What we do for you, this is hours and hours a day from my staff and I cultivating and creating content for you to give you the tools you need. So if you want to help and you want to support us, a great way to do it is getting the word out. Like, comment, share everything we do in our Facebook community, but especially subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell your friends. It's a win-win situation. It's fantastic knowledge that'll transform your life, and it's free. So get the word out. youtube.com/BrentWebbOfficial. And finally, it's December 1st. It's almost the holiday season. Dad doesn't need another tie this year, and Mom doesn't need another bottle of perfume. How about you do something different this year, and instead you give the gift of self-empowerment. You give the gift of personal development. You give the greatest gift of all, because no material possession is ever going to equal the impact of the gift of transformation. When you take someone who believes their dreams are dead and believes they don't have a chance and believes that everything that they wanted is now out of their reach, and you show them that not only is it possible, it's probable. Not only is it probable, but it's going to happen. And that's what we do at BrentWebb.com. If you're interested in my one-on-one coaching program, it's called the Mindset Reset. It's where we take your mindset, we take all your goals, we take your past, your present, the fears of the future, and we create your path, a brand new path that's going to get you to your goals. If you want some information, you want to apply to work with me, you can do it at brentwebb.com. We take about 20% of the people. It's very intensive. It's not a cookie cutter program. I work with you intensively, 6 months, 1 hour per week. We do a Zoom call that's recorded for you, and it's customized to you. Like I said, it's not a cookie cutter program where everybody does the same thing. It is very intensive. So if you're interested, go to brentwebb.com. Makes a fantastic gift. I've had a few of my clients now give it to their family members as a gift. So it makes a fantastic way to show somebody that you care, that you love for them, that you love them by giving them the thing that they want most in life, and that's the transformation, to live the life of their dreams, to live a life by design and not by default. Most of us live the life that's in front of us, that just appears every morning. We have no goals. We have no drive. We just live. We just exist. Instead, let's reinvest those goals. Let's make it happen. Go to brentwebb.com. Give the gift of transformation. The gift of transformation. I want to thank you for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video about the legendary, iconic Phyllis Diller. And I want you to remember, don't worry, be happy, feel great, and something good is going to happen to you. Something good is going to happen to you. All you've got to do to make that happen is believe it. Believe it. I'll see you tomorrow.